Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
All right. It seems like you're being picked up by the microphone.
That's great. Ray.
Yes, very, very good. All right. Well, welcome to another episode. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine. How about you?
Oh, okay. It just sounded like you knocked over your mic or something.
I just moved it slightly. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, welcome to another episode of Menu Heroes Digest. I'm Steven.
And I'll be Jordan.
All right. So, we got a couple stories today, as we do every time. But first, I want to give a real quick update that I forgot to include. And let me just pull this up real quick so I can make sure that I'm not mistaken.
I know we didn't talk nearly enough about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, but it's fine. It's fine.
All right. So, you remember how we talked about that cryptocurrency farm?
Yep.
They were not mining cryptocurrency.
What were they doing, Steven?
It was a farm for FIFA Ultimate Team cards.
Ah. I'm, just for the record, might want to probably explain to those people who may not fully understand that,
So basically, according to this article, the PS4s are set to automatically play the game in order to get in-game currency, and then the currency or the account attached to it is then resold for profit.
Ah.
So yeah, it was not what we thought it was.
I mean, yeah, but also we got a good conversation about like our feelings towards cryptocurrency and just the economy in general and the environment. We had some good times with that. Yeah, had some good times.
We had some good times. All right. So, speaking of good times, we'll go ahead and go to our first actual story, which is Metroid.
Hooray! My favorite thing ever.
So apparently, by the time Metroid Dread takes place, there's no more Metroids in the universe.
So they say.
So they say, yes.
Okay, I'll say this though. I mean, it does kind of make sense with the story from the last game. I mean, the official Metroid 4 is Metroid Fusion.
Yeah.
That one, they explained that the Chozos that raised Samus, they created the Metroid to fight off against this thing called X-Parasite, or like a race called the X-Parasite. And they were trying to artificially make some more ones, but like Samus obviously put it into all that stuff. And so yeah, story-wise, it does make sense that there wouldn't be any more Metroid, but the game is called Metroid. Now, if you look deeper into the lore of Metroid, look, I know, hey, this is why you brought me onto this show, to explain some Metroid lore. But like the name Metroid in the Chozo language or whatever means Great Warrior. Now they could end up making it very clear that, that Samus, by the old Chozo language is considered a Great Warrior, therefore is the Metroid. But also, there's been a couple games in which Samus has gone really close to like Metroid and Metroid Prime energy, liquid stuff, and like one of her suits came to life. Dark Samus, that's a whole other thing.
Uh-huh.
They could say, I mean, hey, they could reveal in this game that she could be half Metroid, or she's slowly turning into a Metroid. That could be a big twist. In that case, big spoilers. That's the only way I can think of. But to say there will be no more Metroid after this seems kind of anti Nintendo, because it's like that's the game. That is the game franchise that's known for bringing their main villains back, even if it makes no sense they should come back. You know, Ganon being the prime example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I gotta say about Metroid. I mean, I love to talk about Metroid, but also it's like, you know, yeah. And thank you for getting me a chance to explain some Metroid lore to the people out there. But yeah, thank you. This one definitely put us, you know, a small face in the terms of, you know, explaining Metroid stuff, but also, do I fully believe there will be no more Metroid ever? Not really. I mean, the game may begin with there being no Metroid, but I'm feeling there's going to be a big plot twist at the end. There might be an evil Chozo that makes more Metroid or something. I don't know, but like, there will be Metroid in the future. I'm calling it right now.
All right. So, yeah, you think we should move on to the next one? Because there's not a lot to talk about the Metroid one.
Yeah, I mean, I did most of the talking on that one, you know.
It's mostly cut and dry.
Yeah, it is.
Real excited for the game, though.
It has been 19 years since the last 2D Metroid game. You know, we don't talk about Other M. You know, that's not, well, it's not 2D, but like that's, you know, we don't want to talk about Other M. We're just an official Metroid, part of the main Metroid timeline game. You know, I'm super excited about that. On that day one, you know, hey, we could do an episode about it, or we can do some episodes on Metroid games, you know?
We could.
Just throwing out an idea there.
That is an idea, and we'll file it away for later.
Translation: we will never play Metroid games on Menu Heroes.
Oh my god. No, that's not what I'm saying. But anyway,
I kid.
In the interest of time, let's go on to our next story.
Well,
which is the Mario Watch.
No, the Nintendo. Yes.
It's not the Mario Game & Watch though. It's a $2,150 smartwatch.
That's a lot of coins.
That is a lot of coins.
I'm pretty sure there's already a Mario Game & Watch, right?
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I have one of the 35th anniversary ones in my dresser.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So this watch, it's a Mario watch. That's the majority of what it is. It's a smartwatch, the Wear OS. It's said to use gamification reward systems. Like, you know, Mario noises when you hit various goals, like, you know, a number of steps, for example. There's also 4 watch faces. There's
How many points do you get when you jump?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if there's a smartwatch that would give you points for jumping, it's this one.
That's true.
I really hope nobody tries to step on turtles while in this smartwatch. That should give you alert to the police, you know, because turtles have done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Ever.
Apparently, this watch is also very exclusive. They're only making 2,000 models.
Normally, I'd say that would kind of backfire because, like, some people like to collect certain things or rare things, and like if you set an amount, that might discourage other collectors that couldn't get on time, and they may not collect other stuff. But then again, this feels like just about 2,000 people would probably want this, or well, okay, more, but it feels like a novelty in a way. It's a fun novelty, but still. Probably 2,000 is probably a good number. Because this like 2150, this is like 2150 price. This is a lot.
Yeah,
and I ain't talking about $21.50. I mean, 2,150. That's what I'm talking about.
It's expensive. All right.
I will say right before I would say before we move on to the article, I would say The Verge. Thank you so much for. Again, we're not sponsored by The Verge, but I am thankful that there is a thing on their page where you can listen to the article.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That would be so wonderful if every one of these websites like Kotaku and other articles we look at would have these options. I wouldn't care if it's the same generic, computer voices we have everywhere. It just having to it's easier to hear these things and have it play out in my head than having to stare at the article and read it on this phone or read it on paper. That's just how I am. I have a hard time reading things, without any kind of visual or audio to help me out. And so. I say thank you, The Verge, and if you want to sponsor us, we'll take it. Take your money.
I mean, it is one of those news sites that I find myself coming back to.
Yeah.
So, this next story, and I know we're going kind of quick, and there was quite a bit of news in the gaming industry, like.
Yep.
Like, there was a blackout recently, but I didn't know how much time we'd have today to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, where at exactly? I must have missed that one.
So, that's another reason I didn't do it. I don't know too much about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on for now. But there was also, I've been seeing a lot of news articles about the Playdate, which is little novelty game device. It's the black and white one that's shaped like a Game Boy, but it's got a crank on the side.
Okay.
That seems pretty cool. But so does this next part that I find interesting, which is early Wiimote designs that were leaked. And I'm a sucker for different kinds of controllers, like arcade sticks, train controls, the old NES controllers and all the variations there are of that. Like, did you know there's a motion control NES controller?
I think you've told me this once before. Yeah, I think there's at one point you had shown me some of your alternate controllers and everything. I know you do have at least two train controllers. So, I mean, hey, if y'all wondering if Steven's the real deal, he is. The guy's gamer through and through.
I don't think I have train controllers, but I do have some pretty cool controllers.
Oh wait, you did?
You might have another friend who has.
I thought for sure you.
I showed you some pictures.
Yeah. Okay. I must be missing somebody else. Okay, never mind. No, he's a fake gamer. Steve's a fake gamer. Never mind.
But yeah, controller variants. Yeah, I know you're playing. Controller variants like that, they've always been neat to me. I thought the Wii Remote was so cool because you could put it in different casings for different sports. And stuff like that it's my passion.
Oh no, the cases for the Wii remotes were amazing. I couldn't really afford any of them, but I knew people who did, and I would always look at their stuff and be like, Would be nice if I had my own, but hey, this looks cool.
So there's been a lot of Nintendo leaks. It's just been how it has been for like ever since 2020. And one of the things that leaked was early Wii Remote designs. And Jordan, do you have the page up?
I do, yes. I'm looking at the first image. Now, again, we're looking at the Kotaku page right here. It's taken us a minute to for everything to load, but I'm guessing you're talking about like the green controllers on here.
The green ones. In fact, I have one up on the screen on the video, so that the viewers will know which ones we're talking about. So these, these are super cool. They give me like Xbox 360 vibes.
You know, like, it's funny that it took a few years for Nintendo and Xbox or Microsoft or Xbox to, team up and did that whole like Game Pass thing where like you could share an account for both Nintendo and Microsoft. Because like if they had done that in the Wii era, like this would have been the controller to have been like, hey, we're both coming together with the crossover done right, and I think a lot of people would have liked this controller if it did come out, or some variation of this.
Yeah. So just looking at some of them, and I'll go in order from left to right. It's really interesting to see that they originally were going to make the A button the B button. Yeah.
And some of them were going to have like the A button right where the Z button is, or like the one the back buttons are.
Yeah, that's actually where the B button is located.
Yeah.
It's
a weird, like...
And then they were going to have
It is like looking into an alternate timeline, is why I see this.
Got to make sure the TVA doesn't come for us.
So now what happens at the very end of the episode. Oh, I won't spoil anything. No spoilers here.
But yeah, and I like how they used XY instead of 1, 2. Although they eventually just abandoned that. And then looking at the second and third ones. Sorry, you were going to say something?
Oh, no. I was just saying, like, it is interesting that, like, you're used to... It is, because we've gotten used... Because we've seen the official Wii Remote of how we're used to, like, the plus and minus thing. And that was a whole debate of Nintendo when they were about to make this console, this remote, being like, should we do X and Y? Should we do, like, up arrow, down arrow? Or... plus or minus, and they end up choosing plus and minus. We're just kind of used to it now. It is kind of weird to see variations of that or something.
It is strange, yeah. What's interesting is that the second and third variations, we're going to have LR buttons branching off of the middle button.
Yeah, and if you look from left to right, it kind of looks like, like the B button is just jumping up and down, or like having pom-poms and cheering, It's my first thought. Yeah, my brain goes weird places. Sorry.
It does look like that, though.
I think to me the weirdest one is that the far right one, the fifth one, it straight up looks like a TV remote controller. It looks like the one I have, or we have upstairs for our pseudo flat screen TV. It is flatter than most TVs, but it's not a full-on flat screen. But it has a remote similar to the fifth demo right here. Yeah,
it's a unique design for sure, because it kind of looks like one of those scrolling wheels, like what the original iPods had.
Oh yeah.
And the D-pad at the bottom's really unsettling.
Yeah, it's unsettling and also kind of unnecessary, because you would imagine the circles would be the control, the motion controls, where you go up, down, left, and right, or diagonal.
The only thing I can really think that they were thinking when they did it was that they were already planning to have some games where you hold the Wii remote sideways. And so one would control a camera and the other would control movement or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably their idea. Like maybe they thought, yeah, I'm just trying. Yeah, again, you can kind of see why they abandoned that idea because you can see some games doing like that, but also maybe difficult to play with horizontally. With that fifth remote, while you moving your character around with the top one and trying to move the camera with the bottom one, like it would I don't know, it'd feel like again looking at your TV remote, pressing the buttons on the top of the remote and press the buttons on the top of the bottom at the same time.
Although I will say that looking at it, if it was used for games like let's say like Breath of the Wild was on the Wii, because they planned to use the nunchuck like early on, and so like you could use that little circle around the A button to control the camera while you use the nunchuck to move, and I think that would actually feel pretty natural.
I guess I just like
oh, you're a fake gamer. You're a fake gamer, so you wouldn't understand.
Yes, I am. Pardon me for getting used to the nunchuck being the camera movement, while the other one you use for regular movement. But no. Actually, what am I thinking? It's the opposite. Yeah, I'd use the Wii remote's controls to move the camera and the nunchuck for actual character movement. Like, yeah, what am I thinking? Yeah, man.
But yeah, and the fourth controller, which we completely skipped over. That's the one that gives me the most Xbox vibes. Just the use of the green Mountain Dew color that I associate with the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, with the little clear finish on the buttons. It reminds me of the Xbox button on the controller.
Yeah, when you said Mountain Dew color, it's very true. But like, my first thought was like some gamers eating like nacho cheese Doritos or Cheetos and getting like dust prints on it. Yeah, that's so many Xbox controllers I've hanged out with. Like I've had people, friends and family, who would not wipe down their controllers and would have a bunch of dust stuff on it, and it's just like, I mean, it's luckily we weren't in 2020, but but even then I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get a napkin or something, man, because I ain't getting diseases from this controller.
So, fun fact, did you know there was actually a limited edition Mountain Dew Xbox?
It's something that I may have not heard of, but it sounds plausible. Like, absolutely Xbox would have done a promotion with Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely 100% true.
You also do one for Doritos?
No.
Oh, that's the match made in heaven, man.
But yeah, it was I pulled up an article so I can make sure that I'm 100% sure how it was done. But before I pulled it up, I knew about it because my last job, our Richmond store actually had one of these. But we won't say the name of where I worked.
Yeah, just full disclosure, yeah, we like to keep ourselves private. We don't want all of our information out there,
I mean, we tell people about the King's Cudgel, which is where we do Pokemon videos, but, we're on good terms with them. My last job...
Yeah.
But anyway, participants had to buy bottles of Mountain Dew to earn enough points to be able to get the console.
Did cans count?
Nope. Just bottles.
Aw.
And it is an ugly, bright green.
I prefer the cans, man. I don't know. I feel like they're colder. I feel like even though there's more in the bottles, but like they lose their cool and they get warmer easier than the cans.
There is a definite.
Sorry, I'm a can guy.
There's a definite hierarchy when it comes to sodas. At the very top, you've got soda fountains. They are like the purest of the soda. Then you've got cans.
Amen.
Then you've got bottles.
Amen.
Then you've got 2 liters. 2 liters come after the 20-ounce bottles because 2 liters go flat faster.
That's what I've been saying that for years.
So yeah, that's our soda junkie knowledge. All right, we've actually
see we are real gamers.
We spent quite a lot of time talking about Wiimotes and Mountain Dew.
Again, like real gamers.
So, talking about, being gross, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. No, I'm kidding. My brother loves Yu-Gi-Oh!
I was going to say.
The few Yu-Gi-Oh! Players I've actually met, they've been pretty chill. They'll play with my brother. Only one of them was kind of a jerk. And he's on the spectrum, so, social cues, he's neurodivergent. Social cues are not always his strong suit. Xander just said he's not going to play with him again. And full disclosure, yeah. Xander is also neurodivergent.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I am to an extent, but I don't know. I've only been diagnosed with ADHD, depression, and anxiety.
Yeah.
As well as, diabetes. Because it's genetic.
I've only been diagnosed for ADHD. That's the only thing I've been diagnosed with. I don't think depression, anxiety I've ever diagnosed with. I mean, even there's times where I may have felt that, but as I said, in terms of I've never been certain. Do I really fall in the spectrum? Does ADD or ADHD really count?
I don't think it's the same, but it's. I think it would be considered not neurotypical. Because we struggle some with attention and paying attention. Yeah, that's a sentence. So anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It is a new game Konami's coming out with that they say it's going to be more like the TCG. They say it's going to be like the most complete Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital title ever.
So, will this finally be the game where you can send people into the Shadow Realm?
Nah, this one's going to be more based off of the trading card game than like the manga and anime. And I'm pretty sure Xander's going to be, excited for it.
I mean, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they have some cool designs for the monsters, and I think they get super creative. The whole lore of Yu-Gi-Oh!, where it's like it's all created by the Egyptian gods, and they've been playing it for 5,000 years. I don't know how that applies to space dragons, mecha space dragons from outer space. But, it's like, hey, those Egyptian gods, they probably saw things from the future and all that,
How do you think pyramids were made?
Dun dun. But full disclosure, Steven, I tried clicking on the article both before the show and during. IGN ain't letting me see it.
Okay. That's fine. I'll mostly cover this article then, and you can give some opinions. Because
has that how the whole show's been?
Full disclosure, I haven't read the articles that you were going to do for your Gabbing with Jordan session.
Yeah. Again, it's like I think I got them with me because, so especially with like the second one that's dealing with like names that are French. So I'll go again before we get to those stories. I want to go ahead and apologize for all our French-speaking viewers, if any of you are out there or anyone's watching. Again, I'm stupid American. I haven't really spoke much French throughout my entire life. I'm trying my best to pronounce these, so full warning there.
Fun fact, I actually took French in high school. So anyway,
at least say some of the names.
Maybe? I don't know. But anyway, back to Yu-Gi-Oh! So we don't get too off topic. Like we said, ADHD. This game is going to be released on the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Steam, iOS, and Android. And it's going to be in 4K on some devices. In addition to
In
this,
Kaiban 4K.
in addition to Master Duels, there's going to be Rush Duel, which is going to be for the Switch, and Cross Duel, which is going to be for the iOS and Android. That's going to be, instead of 1v1, it's going to be a 4-player duel, which is cool, which sounds pretty cool.
All right, sounds good.
And of course, they talk a little about the Duel Links, which Xander plays right now, and how it's achieved 140 million downloads worldwide, and duelists have collected more than 65 billion cards and have done battles in 6 billion duels. So, it's still a popular game.
Yeah. But every time we go to any card store or game store, there's still plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh cards still on the shelves, and Pokemon not so much.
Well, I think Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't get as hyped up as Pokemon, because people found out Charizards are worth a crap ton of money. Except for all the ones I have.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's
maybe one day Dark Magician and or Blue Eyes White Dragon, they might be worth something.
Well, some cards are worth stuff. It's just, Pokemon's real popular right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Alright, so let's move on to our next segment, which is Gabbing with Jordan, about Activision.
Just gabbing with Jordan.
That's me. Alright, take it away, Jordan.
Alright, well, despite that cheerful intro, we've got a couple pretty dark stories here. Again, trying to make sure we don't anything too explicit, but it's just always kind of sad whenever you have dreams of being a part of one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, and they talk about we want to diversify, we want to reach out to people of all genders, races, creeds, and ethnicities, and give them a fair chance. And unfortunately, articles like this show you the darker sides of those kind of companies. Activision, Blizzard sued by California over widespread harassment of women. We got the Blizzard being the big company that makes the Call of Duty and Overwatch games. Basically, there's they're being sued for basically having a frat boy workplace culture that has led to years of harassment and abuse targeting the women in the workforce. Allegedly. I should also put allegedly. That's been proven yet. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing is investigating this. So we will see. But there's been a lot of anonymous sources from former developers, former employees that have pretty much brought up in light a lot of Activision Blizzard's darker sides. So anyway, the Department of California, they are bringing this government enforcement action seeking to redeem, prevent, and deter, Activision Blizzard's violations of states' civil rights and equal pay laws. They point out that the lack of women in leadership positions in the company and the difficulties they have faced in gaining promotions. The suit also highlights enormous pay disparities and at the executive level between women and men, and says women are not only promoted more slowly, they are also terminated more quickly than their male counterparts. I said the frat boy workplace culture is also mentioned as breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Yes, and in this article goes into some of the male employees or even some male supervisors do this thing called cub crawls, in which they'll get drunk. Apparently they're cool with having alcohol in the building, and they just go around the offices and just like, harass the women there, or just like, have them, I just like, talk about them like being behind them and like getting near them, trying to rub their shoulders and everything. And it's just disgusting
and inappropriate.
Like just looking more inappropriate, just inhumane. Just how some of these people can get away with this kind of behavior of creating this toxic environment for a lot of these women and everything. And the worst part of it, or the one that really struck a nerve for me, was
is this going to be the one where she committed suicide?
Yes, and it was because during a business trip.
Sorry to interrupt.
I know.
You. We just don't want to go into too much detail on that one. But basically, the male supervisor harassed her sexually.
Yes. Again, I know we want to keep this podcast on all ages, and I'm trying to make sure I don't get too explicit here, but also, like, this is what happens when when people who are just trying to do their job and are constantly harassed and are abused, or just belittled and just dehumanized, and they're stuck in a corner when nobody will listen to them, so they go to extremes and take their own life. And it's tragic, and it's sad that it took this long for the state of California to do anything about this.
Yeah, it is really heartbreaking. And I know that Activision has released a response saying that this isn't the type of culture they have anymore. But unfortunately, I don't think I believe them, because I know people who used to work at Blizzard, the parent company. And Blizzard, while on the outside they'll act like they're, for the people, they're pro-civil rights, they don't exactly act like it. They still have a lot of sexual harassment issues, and when it comes to diversity, they're still lacking. They're more virtue signaling than anything.
I mean, I know some of us gave praise for Activision and Blizzard when in like one of the Call of Duty games they had a message saying Black Lives Matter and everything, but that turns out that was very surface level, because the African American employees, it takes them like years to manage to get any a permanent employee position. Many of them are still stuck in like internships or like lower positions, while white men are hired and they're made permanent employees at a much quicker rate. So it's like, maybe you should practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Maybe that message you made, that even though that pissed off a lot of like conservative gamers or whatever. I shouldn't say that word. Sorry.
That's okay.
I know. Hey, this is a more serious. This is definitely more of a mature story than.
This is important.
Yeah.
This is a
issue
that needs to be discussed, and
it is. And,
the reason
companies like these need to be held accountable.
Exactly, and the reason, by the way, if you're listening and wondering why we'll talk about stories like this on a channel that is supposed to be family friendly, that I know some kids might watch, not a lot, but because we're still a new channel. But the reason we'll do stories like this is because it's important to talk about these things. It's especially important for kids to, get involved earlier. I mean, I'm not trying to indoctrinate anyone's child. I'm really not, but like LGBT rights and, making sure women feel safe, stuff like that is stuff that kids need to know about, so that they can be the ones who change, so that they can be the change we want to see.
Exactly. And also, I feel like it's important for kids to at least be aware of this kind of thing. Maybe not super young kids, but kids that are old enough to at least understand some stuff like this, because like kids, like there's been polls of like what are kids' dreams of for their future careers, and they'll put either YouTuber or video game developer or some kind of job involving video games or whatever. And they need to know like what's happening behind the scenes for these big studios that are making these games and how they treat their employees. You know, they need to be aware of these kind of things.
Exactly.
You know, before going to this. You know, and it's because again, because I'm sure plenty of these female employees were either just there to do a job or they had high hopes of getting involved with some big games and making a big change or doing stuff, and to be treated like this, man, to be dehumanized like this, it's tragic, you know.
It's unforgivable.
You know?
All right, so you still want to talk about the next one?
I mean, Steven, like, that was Activision and Blizzard. Surely there isn't another video game company that's having issues with sexual harassment and discrimination.
Well, yeah,
I mean, can you name another one?
Ubisoft. But I mostly meant, like...
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's anything to add with Ubisoft?
Well, it's in terms of, like... well, for that one, I feel like that company and Bethesda... I remember, like, back when people could actually go inside E3 and big gaming conventions... I know Bethesda and Ubisoft, they made videos about, like, showing all of their employees having a good time and showing some of their fans the video games of, like, we're all part of this family. We're all one, and we're here to, like, you know, make the future and everything. Yeah, and it's, you know, and we kind of knew that was just PR nonsense or just publicity, just to give them a good image.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Ubisoft was a company that was myself loud and clear. That one especially was all about, we're all for diversity, we're all for equal pay, we're all for giving a safe space for all our employees. And it's like this article by Kotaku shows that Ubisoft Singapore clearly has not gotten the message, because that is on the bottom of the list of studios that just has most toxic of toxic culture.
Yeah. I know Ubisoft has had a lot of controversies. At least, you know, I've seen a lot of them recently with their, you know, Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Montpellier, and the Paris office. They've gotten a lot of attention, but like you said, Singapore has not.
I think it's probably why it's gone worse than those studios. Because again, Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Paris, those are big cities that like are giving a lot of jobs, and like certainly a lot of people are more willing to like expose some of the darker sides of it if those dark sides exist and everything. Singapore, again, I'm not sure all about the customs and how things work exactly in Singapore, but I imagine like they must have found some way. Again, either there hasn't been any focus on them, or they've managed to keep things tight-lipped and, you know, keep people from talking much up until recently. But it's like several former employees and former developers have said, yeah, Singapore, yeah, if you're not a white man or can speak French, you are treated like dirt. You know, you will most likely not get promoted there. You know.
Yep. I mean, to an extent, I kind of understand the lack of promotions for if you don't know French and you're not willing to learn it, because that's a lot of what they speak. But treating someone like dirt because they can't speak it, that's not cool.
Well, you would think that they at least like give you like pay for lessons to help you learn French. That way you can better communicate the higher ups at Ubisoft.
Exactly.
You know, or some, you know, and if someone said I'm interested in wanting promotion, or someone I want a permanent position there, you would think like, okay, well, one of the courses you got to take is learning French. You got to make sure you at least learn the basics of it, you know. And if someone's willing to do that, then that at least that should be a fair compromise, but they don't even do that.
I mean, it would show that the employee has drive, which is always a good thing to have, and it would show that the company was trying to diversify its talent by making classes available. But alas,
in a perfect world, that would be the case, but
it's not a perfect world at all.
We are in maybe not the darkest timeline, but one of the darkest timelines. People like again, this is probably one of the names I'm probably butcher, but Dues Ricor, former manager and director of the Singapore studio, has had several complaints on his name. Several people have said that he's just run to the core, that he is just been just has such a temper, and he intentionally makes other employees feel smaller and weaker just to make himself better. And it got really bad that last fall they had to force him out of that position at that studio. But he's still involved with the company. He's still around. He's just not right there anymore, and they basically just gave him a slap in the wrist, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Alright. Well, that has been Gabbing with Jordan.
Yeah, guys, I know the last Gabbing with Jordan was pretty much like, the dystopian nightmare that is Japan's weird copyright laws, and this is all about sexual harassment in the workplace. I mean, maybe I'll find a more lighthearted story next time, but
until next time.
Until next time. Say until next time.
Alright, so let's move on to some more lighthearted news. Steam Deck.
I'd like that.
So, I'm actually really excited about this. The Steam Deck is Steam's answer to the Nintendo Switch.
Yep, looks just like it.
It can connect to the TV through USB-C, and it can play games on the go. Except it's a lot more powerful than the Nintendo Switch.
I can already tell it allows better graphics and better horsepower.
Yes.
Just by looking at it.
So, here's just a little bit of what it's got. It's got a 4-core, 8-thread, 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz CPU, which is, that's pretty decent.
Yep.
The graphics are... It uses an AMD RDNA 2 chip, which, I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means, except that it's got better graphics than the Switch. Which, I love the Switch, just to, clarify.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The RAM...
But it is something to where,
Sorry. The RAM, which is an important part about gaming, is 16 gigabytes at 32-bit quad channel, which means, it's got a lot of bandwidth.
Yep.
It's got a 7-inch LCD touchscreen at a resolution of 1280 to 800, which means it's going to be about 720p. And it's got a couple different price points: $400 for a 64 gig, $530 for a 256 gig, or $650 for 512. So it is pricey, but it's also a portable PC.
Yeah, and I do think the only complaint I've seen online about this is only 512 GB. I mean, come on, man! I eat that for breakfast. I've seen an article where they do say, man, I got at least 2 terabytes of games I get stored up, but I mean, I'd imagine there'd be some way to add more, storage and more memory to this, or at least have an extension that lets you download games onto it.
There is actually.
What?
Yes, there is a Microsoft. There is a micro SD card slot on it, and you can. Those come up to like 2 terabytes nowadays. So you'll have plenty of space for your games. And there's always the concern. Well, if a game is being loaded from an SD card, that means it'll load slower, right? Well, those who have seen the Steam Deck, preview, the videos of it, every single game shown in that preview was loaded from the SD card and playing off of it, which was kind of just like a mic drop from Valve, because it's like, oh, you want to know how SD card performance is? You already know, and I just think that's the coolest thing.
It's the way you say it reminds me of like that scene from Back in the Future where it's like the guys on the phone like, hey man, this is your cousin, all that. You want to hear some good music? Well, listen to this,
Yeah.
My brain just went to that, Like you want quality games but stored on a separate hard drive? Well, look at this, It's,
if I had the money, I would pre-order this. Not gonna lie, because I would love to play Outer Worlds and Fallout especially on the go.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I can play them on my laptop, but playing them on a Switch,
I can only imagine
device,
if this is purely a Steam device, there's so many great indie games that are on Steam that you can play on the go. That's a selling point for me. I mean, I know that Undertale is going to be it definitely is already on Switch, but if it wasn't, I would have gone this, and this is how I'll play Undertale on the go.
So it's actually also interesting that you say that this is just a Steam device.
Well, I say that because last week we were talking about a Smash clone, which was Nintendo All-Star Brawl.
Yeah.
But both of us were super enthusiastic.
You okay there? Hello? Did it drop the call? Are you still there, buddy? Oh my god. Gonna end the call and then redial. Hello?
Are you okay? You there?
Yeah, it just dropped the call.
I mean, I could hear you. I don't know what happened.
I couldn't hear you. I don't know what happened either, but we got the problem fixed.
Okay. All right. So back to where I was. Last week, Smash clone, but looks good. This week we're doing a Switch clone, but looks good.
Yeah, it's
If you can do a good job at copying something, then I'm not gonna complain much.
Yeah, it's actually it's pretty cool because it's not just a Steam device. You can install Windows on it. You can install other game storefronts like Epic, which means those of you who have been downloading the free or getting the free games on Epic, you can play those on the Steam Deck. It's not. They don't know how well it's going to work on there. Fortnite. But yeah,
I've never played Fortnite, so
it's going to be an open platform, which is pretty cool. The battery life doesn't sound, very good. It's about 2 to 8 hours depending on what you're doing, according to one of the developers. And for example, you can play Portal 2 for 4 hours, and if you limit it to 30 frames per second, you can be playing for 5 to 6 hours.
Look, man, as long as it's not like the Sega Mega Drive, or the Sega, whatever that portable Sega game
The Game Gear?
Sega console. Yeah, if it's not a Game Gear like the old days where you had to put in 8 batteries and it ate it up like breakfast, I'm fine. If there's a way I can charge this thing, I think I'm good,
Oh yeah, no, you'll definitely be able to charge it. You plug it
Good.
in.
I mean, there's a Battery Plus store like right across the street from where I live. You know, if I needed those batteries, man, I know where to go, and I'd help give them business.
Yeah. Well, I actually think that's about it for, today's episode. Which is good because it's about time for me to clock out of my real job.
Yeah, got an early start tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
buddy.
today especially, I work at a furniture store, mainly at the warehouse section, and they had me pushing a lot of furniture today. So I was planning on going to bed a little early, but then you told me we're gonna start at 9, so I was like,
Oh,
okay,
I'm sorry.
No, man, it's fine. It's fine. Hey, this is what that to tell you how much I like this show and how much I like doing this show. I'm willing to power through, aches and pains just so we can talk about this and bring up serious issues and also have some fun and talking about Nintendo clones.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you enjoy the show. I'm really honored to have you on because you've been a long-time fan, and we're fans of you.
Aww, I think I'm gonna cry.
All right, well, we're gonna log off now, and until next time, stay cool
And stay hot.
Oh my god.